Hi there, I'm David Duke, and I'm looking at Manga Studio EX5. I'm a long-time Photoshop user, and I was watching Jonathan Rector's videos, and I noticed that he used this program, and I really got interested. So in the summer, I downloaded the 5 version, the demo, and I tried it out, and not too much, but I played with it a bit. And then I finally decided to get the actual program. So I got the EX version. Now, right now I just started drawing in it with just the pencil tool, and I wanted to compare it to how I draw in Photoshop. And so far, I really like the way it works. I love the way the tablet feels with it, so I thought I'd try it out. So I'm going to practice doing some comic book characters, because eventually, someday, I want to actually do another online comic book. It's been a long time since I've done one, and I found that my work process in Photoshop, it's very slow. And it's not the fact that I'm slow, it's more just the way the tools are set and the way that things are done. So I really wanted to try this program out, especially for the inking. Right now, we're just going to be looking at pencil, so generally, I like to sketch a lot and get things nailed down. First thing I always do is try to find a strong line of action in my gestures. So when I first started, there was already something there, and I hadn't decided to record at that point, but I stopped myself, and then I just started recording. So it kind of came in a little later than what I liked from the beginning, but here it is. So right now, I decided that I picked out a few characters that I would like to draw in time. So this is the Abomination, Marvel's Abomination. And I never really draw bulky, brick-like, muscle-bound heroes, and I was like, I really should learn how to, because it's not really my cup of tea normally, like these characters, to actually draw them, but I thought it would be really great just to sit there and try it all out. And like, here I was just like sketching away, and obviously this is sped up. It's like, I don't know, 3 times as fast as normal, or 4, I can't remember actually when I was recording it, but that's the stage because of that. So I was going to do like a versus, so now I'm doing Abomination versus Wonder Woman. So when I draw, I like to work with transparent analysis of form. So I draw through things, and usually I tend to work up the details afterwards. Once I have a loose gesture, I tend to then start to building like a skeletal structure. Like I'll draw in where the spine is, the skull, the rib cage, the hips, and then work on the arms and the legs. And then after that, I start to flesh out with a meaty, like the muscles and such. So I'm finding that a lot of the tools work the same as they do in Photoshop, but I do really like this pencil tool, especially the rough pencil that I found. So I wasn't too happy with the direction I was going with Wonder Woman shape, so I go through several kind of versions as I try to find what is the exact pose. You know, I wanted to put some really strong strain and emphasis on the fact that she's like trying to choke him with her lasso of truth or whatever it's called, and you know, I wasn't really getting it, but eventually I kind of started to find a spot where I really wanted her, and I think it's around here that I started really thinking that, okay, this might work, this pose, but still, I wasn't happy with it. I think the angle was wrong. I wanted to get a little bit more of a foreshortened look with her pulling back. The issue is, though, that while I was doing this, the actual pose that I ended up liking, I had paused the video and I went out to get a sandwich and I started drawing it. And then I realized afterwards. So the sketch of it, the initial sketch of it, I actually don't have the recording of it. But I do flush it out afterwards. But really, I wasn't having a lot of trouble just thinking about how are we going to get the right strain with her arms, you know? Like at first I had them down, and later I put the one arm up, pulling more, and you know, it was just having a lot of trouble. But right now you can see on the screen I actually have the hands of the 3D tool. So Manga Studio has this amazing 3D tool. Not that I've ever really played with it. I just was checking it out when I was doing the break before I came up with the actual pose. And then I was playing around, and it's pretty neat because you can pose the character, the model, in a way to help you get some guidelines of how you want to do your sketch and look at the proportions, because sometimes it's really hard to visualize in your head how to get things accurate. But anyways, so this was the pose that I didn't actually get to record, but it's here, and I'm starting to flesh out her costume now. Not so familiar with the new comic book, so when I was looking her up, I saw that, she has an entire new look. I guess this DC New 52. I don't really know and follow too much, but I suppose I would try and keep a little bit up with the times and keep her costume a little bit more current. I don't know if this is the actual costume she's using now, but it's pretty close, I'm sure. So I thought it would be fun to try that out. So, anyway, so I'm working through and I'm trying to... I often will draw and then take the layer and take the opacity down and draw over top of it, just as I keep building up with things. And that's one of the advantages of working digital, instead of actually having to grab a new sheet and put it over top and work again and again. I wasn't too happy with her face the way I was going, and I think I tried it a couple times, but again, I think the final face, I had actually paused the video again, and I forgot to start recording, but I'm sure you'll see it later on. Her face will definitely change. So, this tool here that I've just used now is if you hold Shift when you're drawing, you can pull it to do a straight line, and I really like it, the fact that you can actually get an angle. Oh, there's the face there that I kind of going with. Just a little bit more in perspective of how she is and such, instead of being more flat. So this is the face I ended up working with, and I'll just end up finishing up her costume more, fleshing out the details per se. So, see how the texture is on this pencil? It almost emulates a real pencil, and I really like the feel of that. It's something I've been looking for. My lines aren't as confident as I usually am. I mean, it's a new program and things are a little bit shaky and doubtful, but I'm starting to get the hang of it. I'm hoping that once I'm finished this series and doing a few characters, that I'll have the confidence that I need to start actually getting into developing my storyline of the comic book that I do want to do. Which I actually already started. I have 3 pages finished, but I did it in Photoshop, and really the bane of it is that it takes so long to ink. It's if I inked it by hand, it would take a fraction of the time. So I'm looking for a digital tool that will allow me to do that, and I'm pretty sure that this is going to be it. I'm really hoping so. But in my next video, I'll get into inking because I haven't actually done that yet. So we'll see. But like I said, a lot of the tools are just very similar to Photoshop, where you can just copy and paste, transform, shape, or whatnot. But yeah, in a sense, I gotta say, I like this program. I didn't, I was really reserved because a program with the title manga in it, it's deterred me for a long time. It felt very, I don't know, it just didn't feel like it would be the professional tool that it is, and it's a really strong tool, and, I'm seeing a lot of advantages to it. I mean, with this you can also create vector layers, which is extremely helpful. It's rather than jumping over to Adobe Illustrator and then back to Photoshop and back to Illustrator, back and forth all over the place with working with things, it's all tight in one program, But we'll end up seeing. I'm deathly afraid of shadow pools and rendering. So that's another reason why I'm looking for a good program to ink with. I'm confident enough to do outlines, and have some line weight to the contours, but when it comes down to shading inside with black shadow pools, I'm just terrified of it. It's just I'm not confident. I don't know how it should look. I don't know where it should look. And I don't know how the hatching should go. It's something I've always been struggling with. But I'm going to see how well I do once I start getting into the inking stage. Generally, I just typically let color do all the shading for me when I'm doing my work. So this is going to be a big stretch for me to actually try and pull this off and gain some confidence in that. But again, we'll have to see. I may totally botch it, but who knows. I was working on her hair here and I just wasn't sure how I wanted it to go, but I think in the end, I think this is pretty much it. But anyways, thanks a lot for watching and take care.